evening and welcome to Astrology Throwdown tonight, where we obsess about Elvis Costello now. We just got to see a picture of him and his awesome band making very interesting shapes with their hands and very interesting faces. And I particularly like Pete Thomas's expression. So check that picture out. They mentioned they're playing in Antwerp. Maybe they already have by now, but Antwerp. What am I going to think of? I'm going to think of Napoleon, of course. That was a major place for Napoleon. He did not want to give Antwerp up. That's in all the memoirs. Belgium was very important for him strategically, and he went through a lot towards the end. He's like, I'm not giving up Belgium, but eventually he had to give up Belgium, and we want Belgium back. We definitely want Belgium back, and of course, Belgium, Jacques Brel, my love. Anyway, Jacques Brel from Belgium, Flemish, if I'm not mistaken. So that's great. That's exactly where freaking Elvis belongs. Take over Europe. That's what I want. Anyway, so pretty excited about that. I'd love to see him in Europe, where can't believe we lost. Horrible. We need to redeem ourselves. We need to vindicate ourselves finally. Finally. And the only way that that can happen is through unity and through a real change in us. Don't we want to get better? This is why I sing Elvis's praises like I do. He has such great ideas. He's such great vision. He's so smart. And he's humble. How can he be humble with all that genius? I don't know. But I have a suspicion. And if you look at his natal chart, he has really, really afflicted emotions and cancer, which is emotional. So he suffers so much. It's so sad. And I can see he has a unique level of affliction in his chart. You just look at him. He's got that line, like, you think I'm not serious. Look at my face. I said it wrong. But the point is right. Just look at me. I'm miserable. He's been miserable the whole time. Anyway, we're gonna see if we can get him into happiness. There's a way. There's a way. There's gonna be a way. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna game astrology. We're gonna figure out where the pitfalls are. We're gonna master the energy. We're gonna all these squares. We're gonna turn them into fantastic charity projects that are gonna help people, and we're gonna fight not each other. We're gonna fight injustice, or we're gonna fight poverty, or we're gonna fight these freaking tricksters. Oh my goodness. Please, my people, let's unite. No more lying. No more lying. Seriously. No more lying. We can't live like this. With everybody lying, everybody gets the wrong idea. Everybody's not lying, but when we're in a climate of lies, we can't understand each other. That is so much why I believe in the truth. Let's talk it out. Let's figure out where we're at. Let's get honest. All the people, I mean, I was thinking about this. I see, basically, I'm working telepathically with Elvis. He's Napoleon. He's my twin flame. I still talk to Napoleon, the spirit. I think it's his higher self. I'm having the most bizarre experience ever, but anybody can see his influence on my work. It's how I can't make this up. It's Elvis and Napoleon, because I only really have that amazing connection with Napoleon. I mean, I can hear Van Morrison, but I can't hear him all the time like I can hear Napoleon. Napoleon is really like fused into me. I cannot escape Napoleon. We're twin flames. I know people don't believe in this, and I know there's a lot of scams about twin flames, and watch out for those. Watch out for those. Basically, our enemies take something real and then they create a fake movement next to it to run people off into a ditch. So the concept is real, but the movement will take your money and ruin your life. Because I don't know why these people are like this, that they have to constantly run scams on us. But particularly anything like New Age, not that Twin Flames is New Age, it's real, but it is New Age because that's where you're going to hear about it. So cannot be too careful. I absolutely recommend looking within, praying yourself, listen for that voice, do it yourself, because there's there's a lot of scammers. Anything with religion has a lot of scams. And it's those people, it's that banking dynasty. They prey on anything that controls the mind. So that's going to be music, movies, television, radio, religion, obviously, school, anything that gets in your head, they're going to control it, and they're going to control it through their management systems. So, for example, they launch these huge BS lies on us. How do they do it? They have this like army of publicists. And those publicists are completely under the control of this dynasty. And then there's all these regular people like me just trying to live our lives, and they're the enforcers. Okay. So I hope some of them are flipping. I really do. This publicist army, and it's basically the supposed spy agencies. It's they're really publicists, and they're not working for the countries they say they're working for. This is a very serious problem because our worst enemies are preying on us from our own government using our own money and our own labor against us. So this is such a serious problem, and we have to revolt against the traitors in our countries. It's really but it needs to be at the personal level, each and every one of us taking up our missions and doing what we're supposed to do. We have a destiny, all of us. And if enough of us will embrace our destinies, we we can save ourselves and others. And it's so important to leave the world better than the way we found it. And I was born in 1973, and already by 1970s, it was already this awful malaise and this sense that everything was just going to get worse. And my whole life I watched it get worse. So now the 70s is like a paradise. I can't believe it. And it was not like a paradise at all. So so look at the world, when I leave this world, how I left it, if I let it continue like this. It started off kind of bad, but fantastic compared to now. A dream compared to now. See, we have to turn it around. That is our job. That's what we're here to do. We're not here to just starve at home because the bankers and their friends and their publicists have all these BS lies for us. And basically, I just want to say this once and for all. When they launched that big story of theirs, I didn't need to even look at the story or anything that they were saying. I only had to look at who was saying it. Okay? I don't even have to research something to know what's going on. I just have to know who's saying it. And they put someone to bang pots in my neighborhood for 2 months just to harass my neighborhood. I know that that's not a health problem. A health problem did not put that guy banging pots in my neighborhood for 2 months. Very, very, very wealthy psychos did that. Okay? Okay, so I didn't even bother looking into it because I knew they were going to put their tricks around every little morsel of truth. So you're going to go grab that truth, and there's going to be nothing but those banker agents around it going, ha 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 ha, it's really just bait. And we're tricking you into joining some fake populist movement so we can run you into the ground. They were so incredibly aggressive. And then they were like, it's all for you. It's all for you. It's all for your health. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I cannot believe this is still going on and that we are still allowing this. Whoever that guy is that is forcing Nuremberg Code violating rules on us, that person needs to be asked questions about 9/11 immediately in public, in front of everybody. Ask what they did about 9/11. Everyone who's a freaking Adolf Eichmann right now, ask them in public about 9/11. Okay, because they did 9/11. That person. This is unbelievable. I'm quarantined permanently and I can't travel forever. And I can't see my own twin flame Napoleon because Some people have a Ponzi scheme, okay? And all of us have to deal with this, the Ponzi scheme owners, and they have been running these wars, and they're doing giant satanic rituals in the middle of New York City, 9/11. So they're doing satanic rituals in the middle of New York City, right in your face. It's not hidden. They're blowing up buildings in the middle of New York and telling people, never mind. Okay? We are living under a regime of Bond villains. Okay? Bond villains. And they have some beautiful idea of the world when we're not in it. And that's their dream. They dream of this wonderful world. It would be fantastic if we weren't here from their perspective, and they're working very hard to make that happen. That's their dream. That's their utopia. They dream of exterminating us, okay? And World War II was the Warm-Up Act, okay? And this is them running their plots to kill us. World War II is to kill us. And then they guilt-tripped us about World War II. They did World War II. The banking dynasty did World War II. And then they guilt-trip us about it. How can they live with themselves doing these things and then blaming the victims? It's abuse on an unimaginable level. It's galactic level abuse. And it's so monstrous. And the Franklin cover-up is the book to read. They don't even count how many children disappear in that book. Okay? It's not worth looking into. Do you understand? That's how much children are disappearing. That's because it's a source of food, obviously. Okay? This is unbelievable. Do you see child slaves everywhere? Go look at that freaking, oof. That's what's happening, okay? We have ample mountains of circumstantial proof about it. This has to end, okay? The richest people have an insatiable appetite for children, and this is going on in year after year after year. Oh, and it's been debunked. It has not been debunked. Absolutely not. And anyone who said it was debunked is in on it, okay? And I had freaking agents on me trying to feed me fake child trafficking stories. So I would have disinformation or to somehow throw me up. Why don't they stop the child trafficking? Why are they creating all of these subterfuges around it? So I'm thinking I'm reporting the news correctly, but I'm actually disseminating disinformation. That's the trick they were trying to lead me into. So my blog would be all these BS stories about child trafficking that they create to cover up the real child trafficking that they are doing. This is real. And I have her name. I have who she works for. She works for the U.S. government. Okay? This person that bribed me, has been pressuring me, who copies me all the time. This is like calls me under different names, pretends to be different people. This person works for the U.S. government, but she really works for this banking cults or whatever they are, and the U.S. government pays her, so we pay her to cover up child trafficking by coming up with BS child trafficking stories. So I'll report it wrong. She's trying to confuse me. Okay? I don't, how would I even report on child trafficking? I'm permanently quarantined forever because I tell the truth and they come up with BS stories and they have the money. We have to take the money system from them. How? Look within, find the answers, talk to each other, find out how. At every level, there's somebody violating the Nuremberg Code with these rules. None of them are legal. This is so far outside of the law. It's not legal just because somebody hijacked our government. That doesn't make it our government. Our government is hijacked. Please, okay? Because I can't just be trapped at home forever if my twin flame Napoleon is out there. I can't handle that. My whole project is about getting back to Napoleon, okay? If he is on this earth, I have to get to him, okay? I have been so reckless because I'm trying to get back to him. And like I've been saying this for 6 months. It changes everything if he is among us. If he is among us, I have to see him. And uh, that the banking dynasty has blacklisted me for telling the truth to uh, the elites, I guess. I don't even know what to call them. The aristocrats. The aristocrats. I blacklisted the aristocrats. And I can tell from everything I'm hearing from Elvis that they are maligning me to the aristocrats. Okay, so my name is being blackened to the aristocrats as the aristocrats are banned from acknowledging my existence. All the aristocrats are being ordered by the banking dynasty to pretend Tanster doesn't exist. Okay? Just think about that. That's insane, right? And everybody's going along with it except Elvis and Van Morrison. And they're only doing it as they can because they need to keep going. I get it. They're not in such a secure position as you would think because the business they're in is so unbelievably corrupt that they're not even really as financially secure as you think. The whole thing is set up. So they're on the brink of ruin, okay? And they use women for that. Don't doubt that. Don't doubt that. They use women to keep them in dire straits, sort of. They have wonderful, incredible jet setting life, but they're on the edge because they get baited and trapped with women. Okay? And please, anyone, tell me I'm wrong if I am. I can see things very clearly. I can see very clearly the tricks that have been run on both of them. Okay? And this is serious. Talk about love fraud. Whoa. I was talking about love fraud in 2017 because a certain guru was making everybody think that they were twin flames with him, and he was making a lot of money doing that. Okay, that's love fraud. That is very evil. And people were even dying around him because he was programming that into people. So this is a very concerted agenda by some sort of left-hand path group to kill us. So they even have gurus out there brainwashing people into killing themselves, and then people kill themselves. That's the story I was telling in 2017. So I was complaining about love fraud, and I'm telling you that there is love fraud going on with the musicians that put my story to shame. What was done to me and countless others is nothing compared to what's being done to these musicians. It is unbelievable, and the personal level of targeting that is done to them, and how they're like studied, and like everyone has wounds, everyone has insecurities, everyone has weaknesses. And that is what we're talking about right now. And that's why I just freaking honor and bless and thank Elvis for this idea about looking into astrology. Because when you look into astrology, you know where those weak spots are. And those agents can't come in and exploit them. I've been so lucky to not fall into any traps that I could avoid. Look, this quarantining thing, what can I do? They quarantine the whole world, but they're gonna catch me in that net. But they laid a lot of other nets for me that I did not walk into because I was so guided. It wasn't that I was so fantastic at perception as I had the information. I'm cheating. So yeah, that's how I've gotten this far because they put so many traps around me. It's like a joke. And I'll just have to leave Facebook or something. Like, oh my goodness, they put so many traps around me at Facebook. This is incredible. Any way I go, I'm going to go into a trap. So I just go, I'll just leave Facebook. There's so many agents on Facebook. It's just agents. These are not real things. Okay, anyway. So once again, about astrology, knowing your weaknesses, know your weaknesses, know your weaknesses, know your weaknesses, know them, and then you're much stronger. And you can admit, oh, I always make that mistake. I have a lot of mistakes I always make, and I want to stop making them. And to have Elvis recommend to look at our synastry, and it's so incredible looking at it because I looked at his Mars yesterday. I looked at my Mars today, and oh my goodness, could there be more Mars? Of course not. Of course not. And whoa, whoa. So a lot of Mars, and then up against really soft spots like Neptune or Moon. And he's such afflicted Moon. His emotions are so raw, and my Mars is square that. Anyway, we have to fight something else. We have to fight something else. We can't fight each other. So it's the only way. But that's what I'm saying. This can be brought into great power. So I have Mars in my ascendant, and I have it in Aries. Okay, so that's my Mars, and poor Elvis has this painful thing. The reason I say it's so painful, it's Moon, Uranus, Jupiter. Okay, so Jupiter, okay, there's a little joy there. That's good. And it's very amplified, whatever this is. So it's ultimately, his aim is true, ultimately. That's Jupiter. And Uranus, he's a genius. That can be a genius, but that could be very nervous, very, very anxiety. I'm sure he has terrible anxiety. Just looking at this, and I can tell, but he has terrible anxiety. I can see it. It's hopefully we'll get through everything. So I could just see it in the chart, but I can also see it now. So the Moon and yeah, Mars. That for this gotta be really nice to him. Everybody needs to be really nice to him because he's doing his best. He is doing his best, and I have I talk about this all the time. My Moon in Pisces in the 12th house. He has it almost as bad as I do, but it's almost more afflicted. So be nice to him. Just be nice to him, everybody, because he's doing his best. He's in a lot of pain. It's because he's Chiron opposition that, and then he's got my Mars, my Mars square that. So I gotta be really nice to him. But that's the lesson here. I'm looking at all of these aspects. I wrote it all out on the astrology report, and we have a Mars trine Mars, so we're really good at being Mars people, and we have Moon square Mars both ways. So Mars square Moon means that the Mars person is like, big dumb hero, I guess. And then the Moon person's like all needy and dependent. Like, why don't you stay home more? And Mars is like, I got things to do. She's like, oh, come on, baby. And Mars is just like, I don't need you craving for my style, Moon. And he just walks out. Moon's crying. That's Moon. That's a good one for that. Anyway, we have that both ways. That's funny. That's funny because you're not going to get along that well because Mars wants to ravage and explore and do all kinds of courageous things. And Moon wants to be reassured and told it's okay. It's okay. So I thought that was really funny that we have both the opposite way. And then we have this Venus Mars conjunction, which is like the ultimate twin flame thing. And then we have it the other way with an opposition Mars, opposition Venus. Okay, so my Mars is opposition his Venus. So I'm the aggressive one and he's like the little soft one in this one. And there's a lot of projection, like I'll see myself in him and think it's him, but it's really me. This is all that. That's what they say oppositions are like. You're gonna right, throw your shadow on the other person. Right, whatever I want to disown. What is he? Oh, he's terrible. Say he's the terrible one. He's not terrible. But that's cool. We have really juicy aspects for sure. So we've got anyway, you just gotta be really nice. That's all. That's all I can get out of this. But we should all be really nice to each other all the time anyway. So I mean, really, the solution to every one of these squares that I'm looking at, we have Mars opposition Neptune. Okay, Mars opposition Neptune. Think of that. That's like Paladin energy, and Neptune, like we're telepathic, and I realized another thing. Yeah, we are, and I can't see him, so ooh, he's off in the Neptune, off beyond the sea. Anyway, so that pans out. That's what's happening. And another thing that's really interesting, I'm always saying we're telepathic, and I guess some people don't believe me, but we have Uranus conjunct Neptune in the synastry chart, which is like the most telepathic thing you could possibly have. And it's right next to the twin flames feeling with Neptune and Venus in Libra, which is, love. And to have Uranus right there, and it's in my place of others. So the other person is a Uranus type person. And then right there in the chart is all of his incredible music planets Neptune, Venus, and Libra. He's so hardworking. There's the Saturn right there. So it's right in my place of others. It's a really incredible synastry for this is twin flames. These are two people who are so fated, but it's so difficult. Like we can't even talk to each other. But but how many miracles, true miracles, have gotten us this far? I never thought. I mean, I really never thought that Elvis could see me. I thought I was invisible. That's the weird thing is now the whole aristocracy is pretending I'm invisible, I guess. But I actually thought I was invisible to the aristocracy. I thought I was invisible to him. Oh, I could do anything. I mean, this whole project, they've been putting the brakes on it. So the whole project is just like, I can do anything I want, and they're going to ignore it. So many of the things I did, I was like, oh, well, if you guys are just going to pretend to ignore everything I say, we have to stop fighting. We have to get along. And I'm going to say this to all the people that I trip some of your blackmail. And I'm going to have to say this whole thing. I think everything that's happened was meant to be. I know it's a cliche. And I think Napoleon was supposed to come back as Elvis and become Elvis to make a point. And I think the whole dynasty of Napoleon was to make a point. And it's about teaching the world a lesson, just like they teach us lessons with stories. Like, I think God's teaching us a lesson with stories also. And this is the story. And it's a story about coming together and growing and learning and perfecting ourselves and mastering energies and being more open-minded, about us changing because we've been terrible. We've been absolutely terrible my whole life. And it's been horrible. It's been horrible to see how terrible everybody's doing. And we're not taught morality. We're frightened out of it. Everything's we're fucked up because they fucked us up. And let's change so we can change. And we have all of the tools to change right now. And we have a great opportunity to change. And what they did to us over the last few years was an opportunity to change really fast because I know I was every single day at my iPhones, like just working and working and working, saying, what is it going to take? What is it going to take? What is it going to take? Because people like me can't believe it. I would just if Van Morrison called his album, What's It Gonna Take? It's exactly like that. You're like, what is it gonna take? Like, is the TV that good? When you're fighting, you're fighting for consciousness, you're fighting for awareness. And I'm fighting for my own, obviously. And this is really cool. And I love in the story that that Elvis is such a great guy because for this story I love it. He really is a great guy. He's really a great guy. I don't know why he works so hard to hide it, but Napoleon was like that too. He really is Napoleon. He's a wonderful person. He's a really, really, really wonderful person. I'm really glad I can tell people that and know that and to share that. He's a really wonderful person. And there's so many games that they play around him. And I see the games they're playing around him and how they're escalating them and they're trying to make him the bad guy and they're trying to guilt him. I see everything they're doing to him just because spiritually I know what's going on around him. And I see the games they're throwing at him. They're really very below the belt, the kind of things they do with him. And but that's the way they are. They fight very dirty. And I mean just things you couldn't even imagine. Right. So they look for your wounds and then they play games with them. And that's what was happening when that agent was talking to me. I could feel her like feeling around for my vulnerabilities to figure out where the lever was so she could control me. And it's such a creepy feeling to have somebody so spiritually dark trying to find your levers because that's how what they do. They find the levers and then they guard them and don't let anyone else get near them. And they fight really dirty and mean. So okay, that's what I have to say about Elvis's Mars and mine. Uh, Gotta be really nice to him. That's all I can see here. But check it out if you're interested. And my Mars is trine. He has this incredible stellium, and it's so interesting. I was giving this a lot of thought today. If you look at his chart, it's very, I guess, a balance. Half of it has planets, and half of it doesn't. And he has what I call like a sextile triangle. Nobody calls it that, but it's two sextiles and a trine. And he has what I call a sextile triangle. And it's like the most malefic energy flowing freely. But it's so powerful and it's so famous and it's so potent. But um it's gonna take a lot of genius to harness that energy in a really creative, productive, helpful way. And it may have been some of what's been tripping him up, just the amount of heavy energy that he has in that sextile triangle. What I'm talking about is he has Saturn and the Sun, Pluto, and Mercury, which is very famous and powerful. If you think about it, Mercury, Sun, and Pluto. That's power and fame and communications. Okay, so he's got this great sextile between Saturn and fame stellium, and then it trines down to Mars, and Mars in Capricorn, which is so powerful. Just dangerous, really, actually dangerous. So then down to a Mars in Capricorn, right back up to that Saturn in Scorpio. See, so this is the most, this flowing, super malefic energy. Pluto, Mars, Saturn, and Mercury's can go either way, as we all know. So he's got flowing malefic energy, and it's totally malefic energy right there flowing around him. That could be the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world. So far, it's been a very interesting musical career. What could it be? So he's got that sextile triangle. Anyway, so my Mars is trine that sextile triangle in the fame part. Think about that. I'm going to bring so much more malefic energy to this. But powerful energy, and it doesn't have to be malefic. It can just be powerful. If you could master that energy, that's unstoppable. Saturn, Mars, Sun, Pluto, Mercury, plus it's a trine. I have a trine to that with Mars. You see? So we have things that are like so horrifically powerful here. I can't even believe it. That. And then to have a Mars trine. So we have some difficulties. It's worth it to be real nice to each other. If you could access that stuff, if you could put up with being really nice, that's the only problem here. You gotta be really nice. It's okay. You gotta be really nice. If you're just really nice, it should be fine. That's what I think. But see, you find out. You find out where the spots are. You can't be all like sarcastic with each other. That would be a nightmare. You can't be sarcastic. Really, but to know that is really cool. It's like, can never be sarcastic. It won't work. That's so interesting. Anyway, enough about that. That's really interesting. And then he's got this painful, oh my goodness, this painful T-square. Be nice to him, just for the T-square. Seriously, be nice to him. He's so sensitive. Horrible. Oh, I feel so bad about everything. The more I realize how sensitive he is, the more I can't even be nice to everybody. Be nice to him. He's so sweet. He is. He's rough on himself. He shouldn't be so rough on himself. Anyway, I'm sure he's doing great. So we're jumping forward a few years. Okay, so that was Austerlitz. That was like 1804. Okay, and now we're jumping to 1806, and the wheels are coming off the wagon on the Napoleonic dynasty by 1806. Things are shaky in Holland. Hortense's son has died. No, about to die. This is very sad. So it's not looking good by 1806. There's a lot of traps that Napoleon fell into. Spain is yet to happen, but Spain's coming up. It's not Spain yet. So all right, here we go. So he's so unhappy in his marriage. He's so unhappy about Hortense, and he wants he wants love. He all the girls, just like Elvis, all the girls didn't do it for him. It was so empty. It was so soul crushing. Same thing with Napoleon, exactly. But it's so interesting to know these things about yourself. You're very self aware about things. I like that a lot. And that's exactly what happened with Napoleon. He got so sick of the girls. He got so sick of the traps. They did send him all these girls to manipulate him. And he was so easy to manipulate through girls. So that's how they do it, this Making Dynasty. So he's got girls on his mind. He wants a girl. He can't deal with the situation with Josephine or Hortense. It's too much for him. And then this is just one of those boring little letters. And this is when he's really primed to meet Marie Valeska. Very soon he meets Marie Valeska. And he just pours all of that, like, that passion and love into her. But it wasn't for her. It was his love and passion that had to go somewhere. And he went crazy about Maria Valeska. And it's just, I mean, I know him so well. He's so much love. He's so loving. It's so sad. Just that life has not allowed him to express his love. He's so loving. He's so loving. Anyway, so Napoleon loves Hortense. He can't be with Hortense. And I can't believe I'm still in the same situation. Where, I mean, thank goodness he's not my stepfather. Oh, I mean, the situation is bad enough, but and he was Hortense's brother-in-law, so they really couldn't be together. You know, they really couldn't be together. But that's not the situation right now. That is not the situation right now at all. It's actually not that bad. Anyway, so here's a little letter. We'll make the best of it. All right. There is nothing against the Princess of Baden's going to Mayence. I do not know why you weep. You are wrong to make yourself miserable. Hortense is a little pedantic. She loves to give advice. She has written me, and I'm answering her. She should be happy and gay. Courage and gaiety, that's the recipe. Adieu, my love. The Grand Duke has talked to me about you. He saw you at Florence at the time of the retreat. Napoleon. All right, let's check out Ev's memoirs. This is still the early days of Rusty. I hope everyone is loving this Rusty album like I am. And I can't believe how it worked out that Elvis just surprise came up with this amazing album. And we just so happen to be reading about Rusty in Elvis's memoirs. What are the chances of that? Amazing. Okay? Just think of the timing, the coordination. Just that alone is a huge piece of evidence for every single thing that I'm saying, that this is beyond us. Something supernatural is happening, and it involves Elvis. He is Napoleon. Is he denying it? Of course not. He knows he's Napoleon. He knows very well that he's Napoleon. Okay? He is Napoleon. I can't believe it. This is so great. Anyway, so please be nice to him, support him. He's prickly on the outside, but he's not prickly on the inside. So that's what's going on with him. He's one of those. He's secretly very nice. But he can't let you know it because you'll take advantage. Just like Napoleon. Napoleon's the same exact way. Same personality. Okay? All right, so let's hear about Rusty. What a great album. The best one. The best one. They're all great, but this one's really good. This one's even better. Even better. It's even better than I can't compare them, but it's wonderful. It's really, really wonderful. Really wonderful. Wow. It's a triumph. It's a triumph. It really is. What an achievement. The Resurrection of Rust by Rusty. And it's such a beautiful story. It's so the direction we need to go into. I mean, as busy as Elvis is, and he's so busy, I can't believe he could do that album. That's amazing. And what a great thing to do. He's really supporting people. What a gift for Alan Mays. Every time I think about him, it makes me so happy. This is what we want to see. Just making time for each other and valuing each other. It's such a beautiful story. I can't even deal with it. Anyway, let's hear about Rusty. It's so beautiful. We sang our Rusty songs during poetry readings at a local library. The organizer was a kind man named Harold, who looked like a picture of a bearded poet in a book, and wrote passionate books about the struggle of the trade unit movement. One local agent even tried to persuade us to change your name to Procyon, perhaps imagining that we might be mistaken for a prog rock outfit and get more bookings. But as nobody knew how to pronounce Procyon, this interlude was mercifully brief. For a short while, our Friday night gig was at the Crow's Nest, a pub in Widnes, a short drive in Alan Ford's Anglia, overburdened with guitars and equipment, along the north bank of the Mersey, into rugby league territory where the accent tips to the sort of flat Lancastrian dialect that sounds as if the speaker has just been hit with a plank of wood. We hauled in our PA, two heavy homemade wooden speaker cabinets painted lime green, through which both our voices and guitars were amplified. A few bored looking girls nursing baby jam sat puzzled through a few of our more esoteric songs and then ventured out of their corner to make a sarcastic sounding request. Do you know any Slade? They said with a sneer. None of our songs bore any resemblance to Come On Feel the Noise, so we gave up on Witness. Or maybe Witness gave up on us? Eventually, someone persuaded the manager of the Yankee Clipper nightclub in Liverpool City Center to allow us to run our own music night with our mate Vinny on a slow Tuesday evening. We would all be impresarios. The scheme was that we would keep the 50 pence entrance fee to pay the musicians, and the management would keep the bar taking from the hordes of beer swilling bohemians we attracted. We thought we'd arrived when we booked the fine local blues guitarist Sam Mitchell. He played bottleneck on a national resonator guitar and sounded convincingly as if the hellhound might have known his address. Unhappily, the club was down a narrow street. where there was little passing trade, and the small audience that did turn up to see Sam either were not thirsty or nursed one drink all evening. We lied and told the club owners that more alcoholic patrons would eventually show up. But we should have known that any establishment named after a line in the leaving of Liverpool was not likely to be our home for very long. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for listening.